Ladies and gentlemen, folks, fellow bleeders out there in the community, welcome back to the Colt Blooded Podcast, this edition. That is my co-host, Drew Lynch.
And that's my co-host, Isaac Allen.
Yeah.
And this is not at all the first time. This isn't the second time we've done this today at all.
No, not at all. And you know what? Huge announcement, by the way. Drew, I don't know if you know this. There's been a surprise announcement based on, if you go to the website, you'll see it. Colts.com, NFL.com, to the Colts page on that.
Yeah.
If you see it, there's a new starting CB1 for the Indianapolis Colts. It's me. Fill in. They're bumping Jalen Jones. They're bumping Jalen Jones down to CB2, and they're going to put me at CB1. I'm going to be on the outside this weekend, guarding George Pickens. And you know what, George? I'm coming for you, bro. I don't care how big and strong and actually have played football in your life you are.
And how insulated he is. I don't know what that bodysuit is that he wears. I'm like, are you?
Yeah.
Is this religious? I don't know what it is.
I'm not even going like that, bro. I'm not even doing that. I'm wearing this. This is all I'm wearing.
Put jersey on. The Hollister shirt and the old signed helmet. This is good.
I bought this shirt from a homeless guy on Sunset Boulevard. So.
And it was lucky that he had the helmet. Honestly, this didn't happen in the first cast. I want everybody to know that. Here's what happened. We recorded this and it was a banger. Let me tell you something. I bragged up top about, remember I bragged. I was so confident because I was like, my voice is back. I'm having a great day with my stutter.
You said prerogative.
Amicable. I did say prerogative in the first
cast. You said prerogative perfectly.
It was incredible, dude. I thought the Colts might go, I thought they might finish out the season 500. It's how
they're going to put you in as one of the assistant coaches. They're like, he can say prerogative. Get him a headset. Put him on. Put him on.
That's what I do. I get us in the huddle and I say prerogative, and I'm doing this shit. I'm doing the Zaire hit, and I'm going prerogative, yeah, and I'm doing the fucking Josh Downs, prerogative.
And I'm doing the Shane Steichen. I'm just going, good gracious to Pete, guys, come on.
Oh, there it is. Bang, bang. Oh shoot. Oh, bang.
Oh shoot. Go.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Here's what happened in the first cast, which you'll never know about anybody. You friggin' whatever. We do it twice. That run was so good. We were like, we're gonna do it again. We're like the Chiefs right now. We're like, let's just do it again. That was so easy.
You just got out of a meeting, jazzed up. I just ate a bowl of rice. I'm jazzed up.
Two typical stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, we're just
white guys in meetings, and you guys eating bowls of rice that I cooked myself. Not from a package. I made it.
Wow.
I grew it in my own bedroom.
Speaking of cooked, the Colts defense is, the fact that the news that we had coming out of today's practice was Kenny Moore is out, Kwity Paye is out. So on the defense, we are, here's
the starting defense. How about let's go down? We got Latu and probably Odengbo on the edges, or Taekwon.
Taekwon will probably slide in there, yeah.
So then that probably means Odengbo and Grover in the middle, with Taven Bryan coming in on passing downs. And Zaire and Speed, obviously the stalwarts at linebacker. That's for our nickel package. That's going to be them. And then for back end, Cross and Blackman starting at safety. Unusually healthy at safety, actually, because
of course, if our safeties are healthy, we have bad news somewhere else. It's everything's upside down. It wasn't going to be like we were going to either be without our defensive line or be without somebody in the secondary. It's always that way. It's never like we don't look like the Steelers right now for sure, which I think they have a couple of injuries too. I think Highsmith is out. I think he's a linebacker.
Yeah, the center.
Yeah, I think they have their center. A loss to their trenches, I do believe it favors, like, we have losses to both of our trenches, but I think that falls in our favor just because of how deep we are and how cohesive our online unit. That's hilarious. Online, we're really, really good. Online, I can't tell you how good we are.
We're not, because we have to do this twice. But
we're not even good online, Isaac.
No.
We're not even good as fans. The fans are coming together. They're like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened on Zoom?
These Colts are bleeding too much.
Yeah.
We're hemorrhaging.
this game that we talked about in already in today, but the game that we think how we think the key matchups line up in the victory in a way that Colts somehow pull out the upset here is that we need to out Steelers the Steelers. We
Yes.
every single loss that we've taken this year with the with the Green Bay and with Houston, they kind of just came in and took our game plan from us. And it really feels like that's going to be what the Steelers are also going to try to do. They're going to try to be like, you know what, let's just run the ball. Let's try to run it with Najee the same way that they're going to try to do with Jonathan Taylor. And let's keep Anthony Richardson one-dimensional by making him throw the same way that we're going to try to do that with Justin Fields. So it's really kind of a similar game plan here. It's just, you know, the Steelers have this reputation of being so physical and so whatever. And it's like, I don't think they've actually been tested in the trenches like our offenses, our offensive line, and certainly our offensive line, but our defensive line as well.
And we have the fortunate thing of that the Steelers have played, and we talked about this with Vinny in the last episode. The Steelers really haven't played anybody. I mean, they're 3-0 against bum ass teams. So the Colts have played the Texans and stood tall. The Colts have played every team we played except the Bears has a winning record. Like the first two teams. The Texans and the Packers both are 2-1, and the Bears are 1-2. They were we were 0-2 and they were 1-1 when we played them. So honestly, like that gives me a little hope for this game. Out-stealing the Steelers, absolutely. We need to run it down their throat. I know they have like one of the top 10 like run defenses right now. I don't give a shit, dude. We talked about it. I don't give a shit. It's got to be the Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson read option show. I want to see stretch plays. I want to see counters. I want to see Steichen call. I want to see like 80% of his playbook just be different run plays that you could just cycle in and out at any time, and then have this 20% where Richardson can throw because Richardson's just a big guy. He's knowing how to take hits now and not get hurt. He's leaning into contact, knowing that he's going to do it the right way. And I think that's going to keep that, a lot of people say that's going to keep him off the field injured. But no, I disagree. I mean, if you look at the Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts and the Lamar Jackson way of doing things, even Lamar Jackson, the smaller and quicker out of all of them, he still goes into contact and just knows how to do it. It's like a way of doing it to slide off people. But it's like Richardson, every time he does that, he gains 5 extra yards through contact and doesn't get hurt. And every time he tries to like avoid the hit, it's like a what do you call it? A self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like he fears it. So then if he decides I'm going to play like I'm going to get hurt, then he always gets hurt. So I just think we got to run it down their throats. We got to out-Steelers the Steelers. And I think we did not talk about this last time because I just noticed it during the break doing some more research that Jaylen Warren is out. And we did a good job corralling Najee Harris last time we played them because let's face it, Najee, very subpar running back. Like, I'm just being honest here. He was touted coming out of college. I love him as a dude. Like, I think he's like a cool dude. And he supported his teammate that one time. He drove like miles to like the teammates like tryouts or combine or something to just support them. Like, he's like a good guy, but he loves him. He doesn't have much burst. He's pretty big. He can fight through contact. He's not agile that much. He's not that athletic for his height and weight at running back. I think the Colts got a shot of corralling him. I'm worried about the dink and dunk because of
they got Patterson as well. Patterson came over from the Falcons, and he gashed us last year under Arthur Smith. I mean, Arthur Smith is doing a great job as offensive coordinator for the Steelers. He really is, and he is containing Justin Fields and just making sure that he just like we talked about how conservative the Steelers are. They're just so tight. Like they're just everything is close. They don't give up anything. Like they don't go. No real explosives are allowed or executed. On offense and on defense, they kind of have a similar. Everything's just kind of close.
They're all on the same page mentally, is kind of what I gather, which is like the opposite with the Colts. I feel like oftentimes 1 out of every 2 plays, there's like 3 players on the Colts, whether it's offense or defense, that just aren't on the same page, and there's a communication breakdown or there's just a misunderstanding of the playbook. Whereas Tomlin always seems to have his guys dialed in to know what's going on, because like you said, it's like they don't have there's no breakdowns that allow big gains because usually that's what causes big gains. It's not like bad coverage. It's like, oh, someone didn't pass a guy off in coverage because
Yeah.
they did a pick play, or someone didn't, whatever. So that's a good point. Like, yeah, Tomlin's got his guys just dialed.
It does. I mean, it is. It's just, I think, like, it, it, one of the things that I think is possible in this game is that Anthony Richardson has, I don't want to even call it a breakout game. I just want to say he has a clean game where there aren't mistakes, and he is kind of just taking on what's underneath, because that they're going to stack the box, and then they're going to play probably some of the safeties on the shell. I mean, they have an elite tandem for their safety backfield, and their whole defense is, top to bottom, it's stacked. But at the end of the day, like, let's get everybody going. I mean, let's get everybody going for the same template that we used last year to beat the Steelers, where we ran by committee. I mean, Goodson and Sermon, they went all, I don't even think JT played that game. It was
No.
it was incredible to see. And their quarterback play was not great. They had some turnovers, but I think even without those turnovers, we still would have won that game. So
I agree. And our O-line is in rare form right now too.
They are. And because there's not really as a unit, like we've talked about this before, but the offensive line, if you have one weakness on the offensive line, the whole weakness of the offensive line goes down significantly. That's kind of how it works. As from a unit standpoint, they work so well together. And the reason that they're number one they're number one and number two in pass blocking and run blocking, going up against a defense that is number one and number two on run stopping and pass. So it's pretty interesting to see that this is just such a trench motivated outing, and that we're going to get to see. And I mean, I am nervous for Anthony Richardson, in protecting the football, but at the end of the day, you hope that something is going to change. Something has to give as far as his connection being reestablished with Josh Downs, or getting Michael Pittman involved, or whatever it is. I don't imagine we go in very pass happy, but we got to take the victories of Anthony Richardson's development, and just that, all right, he is healthy through the first four games of the season. That's a win,
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of Richardson, I just now thought of this. I think if Shane Steichen was smart this week, he would have spent the entire week just having Richardson throw passes under 10 yards.
Yep.
I think literally not even practice more than that. No throws like that. Because like you said, the elite safety tandem, I've turned into you. The elite safety tandem. Elite safety tandem. I didn't have these problems on the first one. It's you rubbed it off on me. You're having such a good speech day.
Things are going so great for me.
Yeah, that you rubbed off. It's because it's like a fucking I'm like Rogue from X-Men, but with bad shit. I took your bad shit into me, and now you're all powerful. With their elite safety tandem with it's Fitzpatrick and who else?
Man, I can't remember who their other safety is. It's
look at it real quick. But with the elite tandem back there, they're going to be waiting for those Richardson overthrows. Like, they're just going to be sitting back there salivating for those overthrows. And I just think that if Steichen was smart, he'd be like, we're only practicing dink and dunk. We're going to try and run it and throw little slants and outs and options, and just run all kinds of not only read options, but like option routes.
Yeah.
And we're just going to run those plays, try and get the time of possession to a point where the offensive line can get in a groove, because that's a big part why I think it took a little while for our elite offensive line to get into a groove midway through the Packers game. So I feel like if that's the case, if I see Anthony Richardson only throwing passes under 10 yards the whole first half, and he's like semi-accurate, and then we're also just running on top of that, I think I'm happy with that. If he throws like for 190 yards, one touchdown, and runs one in, that's a perfect stat line to me for Richardson for this weekend.
Absolutely. And it's just who is going to out game plan the other team, and who's going to get to it first. I watched the Steelers versus the Broncos, and Bo Nix is actually a great example for someone who came in and actually had some success. They don't have much of a run game or much of an offensive line, two things that our team does have, but how we can complete that and playing complementary football on the offensive side is throwing stuff underneath, like Bo Nix is. He's not gonna throw anything. He's not gonna throw a 60-yard bomb, but he's gonna just kind of dink and dunk and just kind of pick away and throw the Steelers off balance. That's what's important. When you think something's coming, like, yes, they're big and they're physical. We talk about their toughness, but can they stay as mentally sound as they are physically when things are really being thrown, if they're able to be thrown off balance? And they were able to be thrown off balance last season with Sermon and Goodson. Literally, we just kept running it. I think we did a drive where it was like 13 of 13 or maybe 14 run plays straight last time we played the Steelers.
Yeah, and the key to that was we did it to close out the game. We did it to just shut it down.
Yeah.
And that worked. Now, granted, this time they have Fields and not Trubisky. So we might have, we might have to put
play
up
a spy. Yeah, gonna have to play a spy there for sure.
Yeah, so I think both teams' best bets are to run and dink and dunk. Like, no one should really be taking deep shots. I think the Colts safeties are playing well right now. Honestly, like Blackman and Cross are both like, I'm trying to be optimistic here because Blackman and Cross are both like candidates right now for multiple pick games like Jalen Jones had, because I don't know if you noticed, but it's just Cross and Blackman seem to be getting there just a touch late on like a few plays a game where it's just like, God, if you got there with just one step reacting a little sooner, you would have picked that off. And it's just, they're so close to it. And I think if Fields tries to go deep at all, which I don't think they will, if he tries to like chuck one to Pickens, I think he's going to get picked. That happened last year. Actually, you know what? I forgot about that. Cross picked one off last year.
Yes, he did.
He mossed Pickens, I believe, on that one.
Yep.
And that was like, whoa, that was like when I was like, okay, Cross needs to get it dialed in because he's too fucking talented to waste this athleticism.
Hang on. We're gonna take a quick break. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. You just ran.
Okay. How fast was that? Good? All right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So, run by committee. I had a revelation. Sorry, I left because of they don't know. I left because I ordered Postmates. I scheduled it, and
that's neither here nor there.
It doesn't.
You just proved you can play cornerback with the speed that you ran for the Colts. You're playing CB3.
We're both in.
You're filling in for Kenny Moore. I'm filling in for Juju, and then Jalen's going to be over there yelling at us the whole time. But anyways,
I will say if the Steelers come in and play to what the history of our strengths are, which is that we don't historically play tight end ones, like a number one tight end, very well, and they do have that in Pat Freiermuth. That is, I mean, it's so important when there's going to be third and long situations, like there will be on Sunday. There is going to be 3rd and 7+ for the Steelers, that they shut down, get to Fields. I mean, it's going to be tough when you have a security blanket like a Pat Freiermuth. And I don't know if we have something like that. That we were really hoping that even though we got a win last week, we were really hoping that like, we're going to see Josh Downs, we're going to see him out in space, and it's going to be awesome to have that be reestablished with Anthony Richardson again. And so I just,
how much do you think the lack of a true multifaceted tight end is affecting us right now?
I think it's affecting us a great deal. They say that there is one of the things that is crucial to a young quarterback's development is a tight end. That's what they say.
Security
they say
blanket.
offensive line, and then that third down getting because it moves the chains and it continues the drive, and you get more and more repetitions and more looks and more confidence.
Yeah, I used to, when I played, like, every year I play fantasy, and sometimes if I'm deep in the draft and I just like, I'm trying to find whatever, like I've already got the top picks out of the way, I'm like, I'll try and find a rookie quarterback and just find out who their tight end is, and I'll just like draft them in a late round, because I'm just like, there's going to be something where they're going to use them as a security blanket. It's just what happens. It's like rookie quarterbacks always hone in on wide receiver ones and tight ends. That's who they do. And I just think It's weird. I feel like if we had Jack Doyle right now, we could be 3-0 or 2-1. Like honestly, that's how much I
Interesting.
think. That's how much. That's why I was asking you. It's like I think that's how
Yeah.
much it affects the team to not have a true tight end where you're like, okay, if there's one person on the field where we're not sure on any given play whether they're
Hmm.
blocking or they're going to run a route or fake block and run a route or
Yeah.
just act like they're going to run a route but then really start blocking downfield. Or you know what I mean? Like we don't have that, and you're not
Yeah.
going to get that. You're not going to get that threat out of Josh Downs and Adonai Mitchell on the inside, or
And,
and it's just not going to happen. And Mo Alley Cox, I don't know. We just don't use it. Kylan Granson's not a blocking guy; he's a receiving guy. That's just what it is.
I mean, you're absolutely right, and you're touching on something that I think is brought up in every post-game, pre-game press conference from Shane Steichen, which is we want to get everybody involved. Well, right now, Alec Pierce is involved.
Yeah,
That's who's involved.
yeah,
Alec Pierce is involved, and so we can't get everybody involved when we're kind of closing out drives. We're not getting the full potential. We're not controlling the clock. We're not converting those third downs. Like we're the
yeah.
worst. We're I think one of the worst in the league on third down, and we're the best in the league on first down. On first down, the chances of
So
us
crazy.
converting, it's so weird. The chances of us converting a first down from a first down is the highest in the NFL. But from a third down to a first down, closer to the first down is the lowest.
Oh my
So
god.
and that's tough because we're going up against a defense who I think is best in the league on shutting down third downs. So good news is
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to be messing with the third downs. Hopefully, we probably won't even get to. We're not going to let you get to it. We are going to get it done. We're going to get a touchdown right away to Alec
Yeah,
Pierce. We're going
yeah.
to get Alec Pierce involved. Um,
And
it's
then we're gonna have a lot of 3-and-outs.
yes, that's what we do. We get one person involved, and then no one is involved.
Yeah, I think that this is why I was so when we talked about it in the offseason on the podcast, I was so all for us getting Brock Bowers in the first round if we could. I was
I think
so
so was Shane. I
for
think Shane was too.
us because it was just like nothing against Latu, man, and he's done okay so far. He's got his one sack, and he was kind of one-on-one with a tight end. He got chipped by a lineman or whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the Bears were thinking putting a fucking tight end on Latu.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it doesn't. Latu still needs time, I think, to develop. A lot of pass rush is one of those positions where it's you got to they don't come in and kill right away unless they're like a
Mm-hmm.
Miles Garrett or a JJ or a DJ Watt. Or a Khalil Mack, like they just don't come do it right away. So
Which we
Latu,
hope
I
we
think,
hope Latu is. We do hope that. And who
yes,
knows? I mean,
but
there's time
yeah,
for him at the end of the season to maybe
that's
put it
what I'm
together.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it's rare that even a first round pick pass rusher comes in and starts making that kind of like impact. So the fact that he got
Mm-hmm.
his first sack is good. I'm thinking he'll probably build on it. But it's just if we had Bowers, man, I just think Richardson would develop so much faster. So it was just tough to
Yeah.
see that pick go off the board, even though everyone was like, Colts need defense, and we do. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, but it's like, dude, even with the lineup we got going out right now, that's basically second stringers except Grover Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident in that lineup. I honestly am confident in that going up against a Steelers offensive line that's down their starting generational talented center.
Mm-hmm. Well, is it down their center? Because I know that they drafted a center that's a rookie who's looking really good. They said.
That's what Vinny said.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what Vinny said
Huh.
in the last episode.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, either way,
Oh, who did he say? Who did he say was out for the season?
I think he said Fashanu is out. I
Fashanu.
think, yeah, I think he might be their left tackle. So
Oh,
I think they had a rookie left tackle and then a rookie center. So they're young, but they're really really good, and it's smart that they added to their trenches in the
okay. I could
draft.
be
I think
wrong
that
then.
that's really smart.
I could be wrong then. I could be wrong.
No,
But
it's
I
okay.
thought I remembered him saying the center was down too, because they're just as injured as we are, if not. Except their injuries are all spread out. We just injured at one freaking position.
Yeah, I don't think they're very injured on the defensive side of the ball, other than Highsmith being down, which they have good depth pieces for.
But
I
that's huge
mean,
though. Highsmith has come into his own the past couple of years, man.
yeah, I mean Highsmith is pretty great. Who do they have here at line? Oh, they got Patrick Queen on interior linebacker.
Mm.
And then on offensive Nick Herbig is also a guy who they kind of have
He's
a
pretty
they have
good.
a yeah, he is. He's played well the past few games. I mean, they have some emerging I mean, they have some emerging
They just got
defensive
a good
stars
system.
coupled with their veteran stars. I mean, it's a pretty incredible defense. It doesn't. I mean, it makes sense that it's as good on film as it is on paper.
I mean, they did have that last year though too. So I don't know if they had Patrick Queen last year, but
They did not. That he
no,
came over from the Ravens.
right. So they, you know what, that they must have needed him for games like when we played them last year when we ran roughshod all over them.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I still say it's just JT. Like we gotta find a way to keep the ball in our possession. We just gotta honestly, even if we lose but we win time of possession, I'll be kind of happy because it'll
So
be a
will I.
step in the right direction of we're not just this offense that goes, well, we've royally fucked up. Here go
Yeah.
defense, get on the field for 40 minutes again, and then Nick Cross is just sitting there like, I'm not injured because of one or two hits. I'm injured because my lungs don't have the capacity to intake oxygen and expel
Oh
carbon
yeah.
dioxide at the rate enough to keep getting 20 tackles a game as a fucking safety. Like that's
It's
just
tough. It's tough to watch the Colts share stats that don't paint a narrative in a good light for us. Like they'll be like, there's 3 Colts on the defense that are the sack leaders in the NFL, or the tackle leaders in the NFL. And it's like, yeah, that's because our defense is always on the field. Our offense
dude.
is,
I watch Red Zone, like I got Red Zone, and every so often it does fantasy stats and it'll move like the screen to the side and have the top five. And it was like Jonathan Taylor was up there, and I was like, cool, he's like number 2 or whatever. And then it like goes, and then it was like top 5 in tackles, and number 1 and number 3 were Nick Cross and Julian Blackman. And I was
yeah,
like, the 2 safeties. I was like, that is
yeah,
a bad sign. You don't
yeah,
want tackles to be there. You want the interception numbers to be high. And then it was
yeah.
like Jalen Jones the next week was like 2 interceptions, and he was the number 1 fantasy player on defense. And I was like, that's what I want to see. That
Yeah.
Nick Cross was
Yeah.
nowhere on the list. Julian Blackman nowhere on the tackle list. Nobody was on that
Yeah.
list for us.
You don't want safeties making tackles in the third level. That's usually not good. That's
Yeah,
usually, 10
yeah,
to 15 yards later, they made
yeah.
their tackle. That's good news. You don't
Imagine
want that.
someone imagine someone infiltrates Secret Service up to the 3rd level, and they're just standing next to the president, like, sir. And the president's like, so glad you're on our side, buddy. It's like, yeah, on your side. I'm like, you don't want that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's too soon, but I appreciated the metaphor. I will
Oh,
say,
sorry, I forgot to use it. On your side, Mr. President. Oh, thank you. Does that work better now?
hi.
Are we all woke and are we all liberal and woke now?
I will say, I will say that the I don't here's my confidence level, and I want to hear your confidence level. So I'm going to give you the confidence level that I'm giving, and I'll break it down in a percentage. I'm feeling optimistic that Anthony Richardson can have at least a game where he looks like he's progressing. I'm optimistic that our team has a win under their belt, and that unifies them despite how young and inexperienced and a little thin they might be in certain position groups. That being said, my confidence level that we are able to beat the Steelers is, I mean, I'm at like 40%. That's how optimistic I feel that we can pull out the win.
I'm about there too. I think I'm about 40%. It's just
Yeah.
it might maybe even like 35, but let's
Yeah.
just go 40 because I want to err on the side of optimism because let's face it, man, we've talked about it before. This just does not look like a good football team right now. This Colts team looked better through week 3 with like Gardner Minshew coming in half the time than it does right now with Richardson at the helm with this absolutely porous run defense that had to stack 8 in the box to make sure an already non-existent run game wasn't going to like break out against us. And it didn't, so that's good, but we shouldn't have to put 8 in the box for that if we have the front 4 that we say we have and the linebackers that we say we have.
Yeah.
I think I want to ask you also, what do you think is the one matchup to watch? Because for me, I think it's Quentin Nelson and Cameron Hayward. I think the first time they met, Hayward got the better of Q. The second time last year, I think last year was the second time, or maybe the third time, I don't know. But last time, Q got the better of Cam.
Mm.
I think both of them, and they both have such a high respect for each other. I think this could be a game where those two are going to be just battling it out, and it's going to be a crazy battle. And I think it's going to help. They're both going to help their respective teams a lot, depending on who's winning that.
I agree. My answer was going to be the trenches, but I also think that the way you contain Justin Fields and make him one dimensional is going to be the same game plan that they try to use for Anthony Richardson, especially with his history of inconsistent play in the past few games. And so that's a matchup to watch. I mean, I told you this in the last episode. I do think that the stat that will tell the story is who ends up more on the injury
Yeah,
list
who ends up
next.
more
And
injured?
yeah, who ends up more injured. And I'm not advocating for that, but I just think that there's a physical component to this game and to this matchup. And it's like I don't think the Steelers have played someone where they've been kind of shook, where they've been kind of challenged up front. And it
Yeah.
really is a flock to the game plan that the other person's going to use, using one's own game plan to defeat the other team, and how quickly you can execute that. And I think it's going to be an exciting game to watch, where you're just kind of like you're waiting for the domino to fall. Mike Tomlin he has a history of winning close games. If he's ahead or slightly behind by one score
Mm-hmm.
games, his record's like, I don't even know what it is, but it's insane. It's insanely good. So that means we need to score early and have them play from behind, where we can get like you said, vintage Justin Fields. Justin Fields he's speeding up his clock and he's making not good decisions
Run
and
first.
yeah, exactly. That's the way that I think we got to take the game plan they're going to use against us and use it against them first.
And I hate to say, because you're probably right about this, and I even paid down in DraftKings. I set a lineup and got Fryermuth because I don't trust the middle of the field
Yeah,
being open with the Colts secondary. They're going to give so much cushion because they're going to be so worried about the deep ball with all the corners being out. The safeties are going to have to be like, the safeties are going to have to be everywhere tomorrow on Sunday. They're going to have to be Nick Cross, Julian Blackman, probably Rodney Thomas in sub packages. They're going to have
yeah,
to be everywhere. They're going to have to have the best closing sideline to sideline speed you've ever
yeah,
seen. Just because I just don't know. Hopefully, Jalen Jones's confidence carries him to something great. Hopefully, Latu's first sack gives them something great. And who knows, we might be pleasantly surprised as Colts fans, because it's not like the Steelers are, a Super Bowl contending team. It's way too early to say that, but I'm going to guess probably not. So
yeah.
I think 40% is a good confidence level, and we got a shot. I just want to remain like cautiously optimistic about it, so I don't end up scaring my pug when I'm like screaming. Oh no, I'll be with you guys, so I can
Yeah,
scream. Okay, good.
yeah.
I'll be at a
You'll
bar.
be
I
fine.
can yell. No one's gonna
You'll be
care.
fine.
I forgot
I
about
think
that.
that if I could title this episode, I would call it "Nothing Lasts Forever," and it's you hope that two things are true at the same time, which is that the Steelers do not go undefeated for forever, and that Anthony Richardson does not turn the ball over every game for forever. And I'm hope if both of those things are true, I mean, if then I mean, if the Steelers make some mistakes and if we are able to expose them a little bit, and they have a little bit of a game where it kind of you get a full scope of who they are, then and Anthony Richardson has a clean game, I think we have a great shot at winning. But it has been a tall ask, just based on the inconsistent play that we've seen for the past few weeks.
Which is why I think, because they're so consistent and non-explosive in a way, and we're so inconsistent and explosive on both sides of the ball. I think this game is going to come down to which team has the better game plan coming in. I know both coaches are good at halftime adjustments as well, but I just think whoever comes in with the game plan that's the better one, and the one that they can just keep turning out, keep doing it without, like a Belichick thing, like where he would just come in and like he would make adjustments, but really he just always had a better game plan coming in than you did. And he always knew your weakness. He knew how to take away your strengths. And he knew how to expose your weaknesses from the get-go. So even if
Yeah,
so that's why every coach would have to dig into their playbook as deeply as possible to try and beat Belichick, and they still couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think the best game plan wins out on this. So Steichen, please, sir, I need you to be what's above fired up. I need you to be rocketed up. I need you to
Ooh,
be
yeah.
I need you to be shot out of a
Inf
cannon.
Inferno. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fuego.
And fuego. I like that. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
ghost pepper hot. Ghost
Yes.
pepper
Caliente.
fire. Yeah. Hot
I
ones.
I need you to be ghost pepper fired up.
I need
Steichen.
you to, yeah, like a different language, like you like caliente. That's how hot you are. Like when a
Yeah.
white guy says, "Ooh, muy caliente," and you're
Yeah.
like, "That's how fired up that guy was."
Yeah. And a lot
He
more
thought he
of
could get
a
away with saying that.
yes. And on top of that, a lot more good gracious to Pete
Yes.
quotes. I
Well,
don't know what
I
the
think Pete's fine. I hope he spreads it out to other disciples. Genuinely.
yeah, is that what that means? I don't know what that. I just laughed really hard because I was like, "What the, is Pete a disciple?"
I don't know. I don't know.
Peter.
Every time I hear Shane Steichen, I miss Philip Rivers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good gracious to Pete. I mean, I'm going to say that he's talking about Peter Dinklage. I'm going to say that he's just a Game of Thrones fan, and he's just like, good gracious to the tiny king of. Was he a king? I didn't watch the show. I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. Go fuck yourself. I don't care about Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think game plan. Steichen, just get it together. We'll be fine.
We'll figure it out, man. Best of luck
Let's
to
call it.
us. Yeah, best of luck to
Let's call
us.
it. And
Let's see
I would like
let's
to,
see what happens.
and real quick, I'd like to thank all the people who have come on for the Bleeding with the Enemy segments because they're not getting really much out of it except for a good time with some friends with us and just some playful banter. But they are going into a podcast that is we're just all Colts supporters. So
And also, I think someone asked me what your Twitter handle was. So do you mind saying your Twitter handle real quick?
my Twitter handle is useless, but I'll give it to you. It's just I think it's either Isaac Allen or the Isaac Allen, but
Okay.
I just am never on X or Twitter. But it's the Isaac Allen on Instagram, which is probably is the and TikTok.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I'm on the most.
Yeah. You're more handsome than you are smart. So that's a better one to follow you.
Why do you have to be? Why do you have to be smart to use X?
Just Twitter thoughts. You know what I mean? Thoughts.